Thanks a lot, everybody. Good morning for coming here. I would like to start my presentation with expressing my sincere thanks. That's the last day of the presentation, and I think we all need to acknowledge that the conference was a great success. I would like to express we have only one technical personnel here sitting here, but I think everything was run so smoothly, so efficiently. Great job for all people. There were dozens and dozens of you who assisted us, guided us. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to the organizers, and thanks a lot to Brighton. So thanks for the gentle breeze, for oysters by the beach, century years old pubs with fish and chips. I really enjoyed it. So, and thanks a lot to the participants, because you feel this conference, you make it possible. You feel it with your laughter, with your energy, with your knowledge. And the very first session I attended today was a session in room 1 about kindness, and I think psychology conferences, and I've been to many conferences of different nature. Psychology conferences are the kindest conferences of them. So my presentation is about evolution. So I will kind of cover the 3 main questions. Why, in my opinion, Darwinian view on a modern human evolution is dated. What are the governing principles of the modern evolution, and why social sciences are failing to predict and provide guidance for the fast approaching changes we're going to face. So, let me start with this picture. This is an allegorical picture, people searching for something under the light. The origin of this picture goes to the ancient tradition of Arabic storytelling. And it goes something like that. A person lost a key on a street, and searching for it. Another person passing by and asking, what are you doing? I'm searching for a key. Why are you searching here? Because there is a light here. But the key could have been lost anywhere along on that street. And for me, this is the analogy of the current sort of discourse and search for a modern day evolution. Is evolution happening? Where is it? Show us the signs of evolutions. And here we have a biologist, a psychologist, a sociologist, all looking for the signs of the evolution under the great light of the Darwin's theory. Why are they looking here? Because the Darwin theory is so great. But is it the right place to find it? So let's do a very quick reality check for a Darwin evolution, and I will come back to that again, but I just want to use it as a starting point. So what Darwin theory tells us, that the natural selection drivers are we compete, we survive, and reproduce. And these are the main drivers of our existence, of our life. So let's see how it correlates to what we really observe in reality. Rising number of suicides. I came here from Norway. There are 30 homicides happening in Norway at average per annum. 600 suicides, 20 times more. So we are much more dangerous to ourselves than appropriators who would like to harm us. Child-free living. If you are interested in this subject, read it. The numbers are just astonishing. In some surveys, show that only 20% of the young ladies are planning to have children in their life. And these are numbers not just from specific university, they are very well across more or less the Western culture. Drop of fertility rates. We are not able to reproduce ourselves. Everybody talking about overpopulation. I don't think it will happen. I think the population will start decreasing. Separation of sex and reproduction. So sex is not a part of the Darwinian theory on reproduce. It's a completely different domain now. Even the rise of the LGBTQ plus movement is also in that kind of domain. Increase of social acceptance of disabilities. We are not competing, we are helping each other. So these are major parts of our social living. They completely contradict what Darwin theory tells us. And nevertheless, we continue to beat the drums of the Darwin theory, and we say it's all these principles. What also I would like to say is that I don't think it was done deliberately, but the Darwinian theory kind of appropriated the term evolution. I think the real evolution is actually evolution which is shown on this slide. It's evolution from matter to life to mind. This is universal, cosmic, metaphysical evolution. And the Darwin evolution, the search for light here, is just a small portion of it. That's it. So we don't need to look for the, and we should not analyze the evolution purely from the Darwinian point of view. We should take a much broader point of view. But before I go into the next slide, I would like to point to these two borderlines. So we are humans, we are kind of have a dual nature. We are alive, biology, and we also mind beings. And where is this borderline? To what extent, what is the ratio between life and mind within our inner self? And I would give you an example, as an example, me and you. I'm talking in front of you, and I'm saying it's not single me, it's dual me. Me, my mind, and me, my body. And now it's my mind talking to your mind. And my body is just playing a secondary function. It just supports me and allows me to articulate my mind. And the same with you. Your body just supports you physically and allows you to receive the signals which I'm sending from my mind to your mind. That's what I would like to argue, that the modern evolution manifests through competition. I'm referring to Darwin's text, but I'm just changing the context. I'm saying the modern evolution manifests through the competition, survival, and reproduction of the mind, not of the body, utilizing neuronal, symbolic, and computational informational processing systems, not DNA. And referring to the infamous John Kennedy's words, ask not what America can do for you, ask what you can do for America. I think we need to ask a question. Ask not why the body needs the mind, ask why the mind needs the body. And that's how I see the actual evolution which is happening in the world around us. And the main principles I suggest as follows. It's about the survival of the mind, reproduction of the mind, of the production of the information, competition within the domain of the information, and that is all happening and enabled through dissemination, storage, and absorption of information through neuronal, symbolic, and digital systems or information processes. That's what the real evolution which is happening around us. It's not the Darwinian evolution. So the post-Darwinian evolution is not evolution of Homo sapiens. We are enablers of that evolution. This evolution happens because of us, but we are not the aim and the goal of this evolution. It will go beyond our existence. And to continue on the theme on the previous slide, I would say that mind needs the body only for three reasons: for storage, mobility, and reproduction. And we are not good at any of these three. Storage, we forget things, we die. Mobility, for us to travel, to bring our bodies from here to Houston, to Perth, to Nairobi, it's a very, very big deal. If you sit on Teams or send an email, it happens instantaneously. And reproduction, what good? We are completely redundant in reproduction as creatures. It takes 25 years or 20 years to produce a new generation. The modern world cannot live in that pace. Modern world reproduce the information at a much higher pace. So going to my very first slide, where I said I will just post some items which contradict Darwin theory, I would like to say that you really need to look into separate processes. Evolution of the mind and evolution of the body. And evolution of the mind happening right here, right now. And we just do not accredit, we do not recognize the things which are happening around us as the process of the evolutionary nature. And the typical examples of that, the ideology-driven wars, emancipation of women, transformation of the economy from physical to cognitive world. Let me stop on that. Remember the infamous secondary school that in the past people were split into hunters and gatherers. Are there any hunters and gatherers in this room? No. We are all thinkers, we are all communicators, and some of us are decision makers. These are our main functions. Hunters and gatherers, they still exist, but they are in a minority. This is the modern world where we are. Social movements against inequalities. We don't compete anymore. We compete, but in a completely different domain. We don't mind handicapped people, people with disadvantages to be around us, because it's quite frankly not a threat anymore, and they generate information and they can assist us in that regard. So new means of information storage and distribution, online, virtual reality, artificial intelligence. And what's happening is that social sciences failing to capture this phenomenon of evolution, and applied sciences just carry on with developing it without giving a proper reflection of what's really happening. So in a conclusion, I'm not saying that Darwin evolution is not happening. It's happening, but who cares? It's happening at such slow pace. Maybe there will be no blonde people in 100 years. Maybe we'll be taller, fatter. Again, completely irrelevant. But there is another evolution. At the moment, it more appears like a revolution, which moves, which evolves completely along completely different lines. It's neural, symbolic, computational processing. And going to the example of the information reproduction, so just think about it. It took 25 years in 1945 for the information to be doubled. This time, information around the world is doubled every 12 hours. So that's the rate. And I'm claiming that in one of my previous slides, I said that in terms of the Darwinian evolution, very little happened within the last 200,000 years. If you take a human being from 40,000 years ago, brush him, dress him, bring him here, you will not recognize the difference. That's what's happening with Darwinian evolution. It's horizontal, almost, it's a plateau. But the evolution which we are seeing around us, the evolution of mind, it goes along with the exponential curve, and in my opinion, it's almost vertical. It's inevitable, it comes at a very, very high pace. So, to conclude, I used a lot of pictures in this my presentation. I wanted to use more, I had to drop some of them. All of them were produced by artificial intelligence. So thank you very much indeed. What I presented to you is my last presentation out of 3 I was doing at this conference. If you're interested in the subject, please buy my book. You can find it on Amazon, on Google. What I'm presenting here is just a very, very small fraction of all other subjects, or of the overall subject of the new paradigm of psychology, which I'm presenting in this book. Once again, thanks a lot for your attention. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Very, very interesting presentation, and 3 Laws of Psychology is very, very interesting. Probably I will buy the book. So, according to evolutionary theory, physiological acceleration and retardation exist. Does, in your opinion, mental acceleration and retardation exist or not?
I would say, why not? Yes, but I'm saying that evolution is, we have two different evolutions, and we don't even have a word for non-Darwinian evolution. So Darwinian evolution still continues, but we're searching it under the light. We cannot find any signs, but it's there. Why to argue? It's a very good theory. Darwin is one of the brightest thinkers in our history, but I'm saying that his approaches are outdated. We cannot analyze modern society based on.
So I will precise the question. Does our mind differ from Socrates' mind?
Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
The brain doesn't, but the information, because evolution is not just what in the brain. Evolution is a social phenomenon. That's another great subject. I wish I had more time. It's a misconception that evolution happens on individual level. Evolution happens on the social level, and it's never discussed, never addressed. It's wrong, wrong, wrong. So evolution includes the social aspects. So yes, the brain is the same, but the system, the ecosystem, completely different. And very little will happen with our brain until Elon Musk will start, fitting some devices into our heads. But the overall thing, how we live is dramatically different. I can tell you, I live now a completely different life compared to when I was born. I am a different human being, not because of me being different, but because the whole system around me changed dramatically.
Thank you. Very good answer. Thank you.